With the NBA back and ready to go July 31st, we're going to be in for some fun and competitive basketball in this year's playoffs. We got more parity this season than we have in years, and today we're going to talk about who I feel is one of the most overlooked teams when it comes to the discussion of who will win the NBA championship, and that is the Boston Celtics. So real quick guys, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to subscribe and hit that like button, would be much appreciated. So most NBA fans have been lumping the Celtics in that tier 2 puncher's chance category along with the Denver Nuggets, the Houston Rockets, the Toronto Raptors, and a handful of other teams depending on who you talk to. Vegas has the Bucks, Lakers, and Clippers as the favorites this year, but I actually think the Boston Celtics have a legit argument as well to be considered in that category. Before the pandemic halted the season, the Boston Celtics were in the midst of a very successful campaign. They are 5th in offensive rating, 4th in defensive rating, 7th in steals, and despite not having reputable bigs in their disposal, they managed 9th in total rebounds and 6th in blocks. They also rank 5th in the league in point differential and winning percentage, and were on pace to win 56 games this season. In today's game, having great players at the wing position is almost vital. Many teams are struggling to find just one productive player at that wing position. The Boston Celtics, on the other hand, are very much enjoying having not one, but 3 very good players at that position with Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Gordon Hayward, which will give them a huge advantage come playoff time. I would say it's their greatest strength as a team. Jayson Tatum is a very gifted scorer at his position and lethal from the three-point line, knocking down nearly 40% of his 7.1 three-point attempts. This of course gives the Boston Celtics much needed spacing. Jaylen Brown plays with intense physicality and is one of the team's best defenders. And on the offensive side, he's a terrific slasher and efficient from the field with a 49% field goal percentage. And then there's Gordon Hayward, who, after struggling to come back productive last year, has had a comeback season this year, bringing his size and all-around game to the Celtics at the wing position. He is averaging 17.3 points, 6.5 rebounds, and 4.1 assists per game on a very efficient 50% field goal percentage, while knocking down 39% of his three-point attempts. And he's doing all this as the team's 4th option. That is quite the luxury that the Celtics possess. This wing trifecta will be very scary for any opponent they face in the playoffs. Boston also has a very steady hand at the point guard position in Kemba Walker. First of all, he's a terrific locker room presence and leader, and has allowed Brad Stevens to coach the team with an egalitarian offense and has suited the team much better than his predecessor. This has also given Kemba Walker a lot more energy to be a strong weapon down the stretch, as he has been very clutch for them in the 4th quarter. In addition to all that, Kemba has been terrific this year playing off the ball for the first time in his career and is exhausting opposing defenders with his constant movement, forcing them to make more coverage decisions than normal. Less dribbling and pounding the ball has been key for the Boston Celtics this year, and Kemba Walker has been a big part of that. He also takes care of the ball incredibly well for his position, very rarely turning the ball over and providing the team with scoring, averaging 21.2 points per game. They also have very solid depth with Marcus Smart leading the bench. He really is one of the best defenders in the league. He's incredibly tough and well respected by his teammates. He brings a ton of energy, constantly coming up with loose balls, defensive stops, and rebounds against bigger guys, and has incredible sheer strength at his position, which in turn allows him to play multiple positions, switching from a twitchy guard to a bruising big man. Marcus Smart gives the team a ton of options. The Boston Celtics also have one of the best coaches in the NBA in Brad Stevens. He has put the team in the absolute best position to win and is getting the most out of this bunch. He knows how to utilize his players to their strengths and is keeping all the players happy in an egalitarian offense that he has implemented. With this year's Boston Celtics, everyone eats, and he has this team scoring in a variety of ways, whether it's in transition, the pick and roll, off the catch, and successfully uses his players as floor spacers, decoys, screeners, or as the #1 scoring option. Stevens can also be incredibly clutch for the team down the stretch, as he is one of the best in the NBA at drawing up a successful play out of a timeout that nets the team an extra key bucket. It really can be the difference between winning and losing in the playoffs. He has also coached his teams into being one of the better defensive teams year in and year out. I really feel that Brad Stevens is one of the most underrated defensive coaches in the NBA. The Boston Celtics can rest easy knowing that they will never be at a disadvantage in the coaching department. Their one notable perceived weakness is at the center position, and there is some validity to that perception, and I see teams with strength at the center position exploiting this weakness. Although Daniel Theis and Enes Kanter aren't ideal frontcourt players, they do very much fit the team's system and can be effective. Theis is a fairly good pick-and-roll defender and defensive rebounder who is often in very good defensive position. And even though Kanter isn't a great defender, he certainly has his usefulness. He is a very good offensive player, and particularly as a post-up player, and is a dominant rebounder. When Kanter is on the floor, the team cleans up 33% of its own misses, as Kanter is an elite offensive rebounder with per 36 numbers of 5.7 offensive rebounds per game and almost 16 total rebounds per game. But the Celtics will likely have to face the Sixers and the Bucks on their road to the finals, where they will possibly have to also face the Lakers. That means they're going to have to survive Joel Embiid, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Anthony Davis down low. It would not shock me at all if Theis and Kanter struggle mightily against those guys. The question will be, can the Celtics hold a fort against those guys at the center position, or will they get demolished by Joel Embiid? This will be key for them, and it will be very interesting to see if the Celtics' countless strengths can overcome its one weakness. Can they hold down the fort? What do you guys think? Do you agree with me that the Celtics should be considered a legit championship contender? Or would you put them in that tier 2 puncher's chance category? Let me know in the comments section. And once again, if you liked the video, subscribe and hit that like button. Till the next one, guys, I'm out.